Hello, everyone, and welcome to the She Flourishes Women's Wellbeing Summit. I'm so happy to welcome today Annmarie Brogan here with us. Hello, Annmarie.
Hello.
Annmarie is joining us. She doesn't normally live there, but she's joining us all the way from sunny Florida on her vacation, no less. So thank you.
My pleasure. I'm so happy to be here.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, I'm going to tell everyone a little bit about your background, Annmarie, and then we'll dive right into finding out more about the work you do in the world to help women flourish.
Perfect.
Okay, so Annmarie is a professional organizer, and she's the co-owner of Organize Me of New York. She is co-author of the book Beyond Tidy, Declutter Your Mind and Discover the Magic of Organized Living. And this is her beautiful book here. It's gorgeous, by the way. Highly recommend. And she is also an ACC credentialed mindset and resilience coach through the International Coaching Federation. Annmarie holds certifications in applied positive psychology coaching, and resilience training. And she's currently earning her master's degree in mind-body medicine. So welcome, Annmarie, to the She Flourishes Summit.
I am very excited to be part of this panel. I think it's amazing what you're doing.
Thank you. Well, so just so people know, Annmarie and I met doing our positive psychology coach training together. And even though we haven't met in real life, I feel like we have, but I don't think we've ever met like in person, right? Only over Zoom. But I just admire so much the work that Annmarie that you do in the world. And I'm fascinated by how you have combined positive psychology with the work you do in helping people to organize and everything that you talk about in this book. So maybe you can start by, because people might be thinking, how do positive psychology and keeping organized, what do they even have to do with each other? So maybe you could start by shedding some light on that for us.
I can see where there would be confusion around that. I wouldn't have imagined it either. When I started studying positive psychology, it was really for my own personal development. I was in a massive state of transition during that time in my life, and I wanted to do something different. And I stumbled across the program that we wound up taking, the certification in applied positive psychology at the Flourishing Center. And when I started that journey, it had nothing to do with anything else than just me. Very much similar probably to the wonderful women who are showing up to watch this. You know, they want to do something for themselves to move themselves forward. But as I sat in every class, and as we learned more about what it means to truly thrive, the pillars of flourishing, I kept listening, saying, oh my goodness, this is what my clients are going through. Oh my goodness, this could really help them. And so what started out as having nothing to do with what I do professionally became a very natural extension of that. And I recognized how much the two beautifully really integrate with each other. And so I got very excited about incorporating that into the work that my partner, Marie, and I do with organizing.
That's amazing. So we're talking about, in this summit about flourishing and about women stepping into their passion and purpose and connecting with their inner joy. And one of the themes that seems to come up, I know, with a lot of women over 40 that want to step into their purpose and passion is one, finding the time to do it. And I think another one is, a lot of people, are moms or they're the keepers of the household, looking after their families and their houses. As part of it, I'm thinking of that and talking to you, and they find that they're pulled in so many directions. And so how do you feel that the work that you do, like, how does, decluttering your mind and this whole magic of organized living, like, how does that help women to flourish?
I think because, particularly as a mom, and I am a mom, my daughter just turned 21, actually. Baby, she'll always be my baby. But I am a mom and I understand. And, I've been single, I've been married without children, I've been married with a child, I've been a stay-at-home mom, I have been a part-time working mom, I've been a full-time working mom. So in every iteration of that, There are different stressors and there are different things that pull us into a lot of different directions. As a mom, I can understand that your priority becomes your kids very often. So no matter what you're doing, you have to juggle other people. And it's nice if you have your own space, but when you don't have your space and you're sharing your space with other people who don't always operate in the same way that you do, there's so many different challenges. And I think a lot of the times we just go, and we just get through the day the best we can, and hopefully with a little bit of grace and hopefully with a little bit of self-compassion. What Marie and I try to do in our work is to empower people to understand that the way in which we set up our space and the systems that we have the ability to kind of set up in our lives make us more efficient. And it helps us to conserve not only time, but energy as well. And it always saves money. But I don't think people understand how much energy is lost in disorganization. And because we don't think about it, we just, that's the way we've always done it. And we just kind of push on through. But when we put a conscious, focused eye on our space and on the way things are running, and we can do that with a little bit of intention and with a little bit of vision. We encourage our clients to create a vision for what they want. How do they want to feel in their space? How can the organizing systems serve them? And we also try to educate people on what it actually means to be organized. And that's where I think there's a lot of confusion. People think being organized means having a pristine looking home or having everything lined up, or, a good trip to the Container Store, which I'm not against a good trip to the Container Store. But to be honest, that has nothing to do with how organized you are. And once we help people understand what it really means to be organized, which I'll get to in a moment, the light bulb very often goes off, and people can take a look at their space in a different way and say, how is this serving me? Not just only from an efficiency standpoint, but from an aesthetic standpoint, from an emotional standpoint. How do I feel when I walk into my space? Do I feel calm? Do I feel relaxed? Do I feel safe? Or do I feel scattered, chaotic, stressed out, like I'm failing in life?
Yes.
Those are very different feelings. And so we want to empower people with all the tools. And everybody has it within themselves to create a space and a life that they love. We kind of equate the two: create a home and life you love. That's one of our taglines.
A home and life you love. I love that. And I think it's so fascinating to me how you're right. It's not just about organizing. This fuels so much more for us in our lives. It really, I think, and I was sharing, I'll share, I was telling Annmarie before we got on the call that, so I'm not great at this. So this is why I need people like Annmarie in my life. This doesn't come naturally to me to do the home organization. And I love that you said it doesn't mean a pristine home. That's good. And not everything being perfect. And I think, what happens is, and I noticed it because Annmarie and I had another conversation before this, and I noticed it over the Easter weekend when I had family coming, and we haven't entertained in like a couple years, right? Because of COVID. And I was, trying to get my house ready, and I was, getting the meal ready. And as I was doing it and things, I felt like I'd left things to the last minute. I felt like, I was trying to tidy up as I was trying to cook and everything. And the litany that was going through my mind was me beating myself up, saying, Brenda, like, why didn't you do this earlier? And why can't you find this? And where is that? And why did you let this get so messy? And so by the time my company shows up, I'm feeling like I've been beating myself up all day long. Like, yes, I've got the meal and I have managed to get the house organized before the door opens when the doorbell rings. But I'm exhausted, not just from cooking and cleaning all day, but from this mean girl chatter that goes And I feel a little vulnerable sharing that, but that's what I do to myself. And I caught myself doing it. And I realized that's why this work you're doing is so important, because that's so draining to be beating ourselves up all the time.
It is. I mean, you and I, because we went through positive psychology training, we know all about energy depletion.
Yes.
Right? So what are the things that deplete us of energy? Basic things like not eating well, not sleeping well, that depletes, but stress, negativity, negative emotions, that all, decision-making, all depletes us of energy. And so how can the organizing support the way that you want to show up? And how can we counter that negativity bias that we have, that voice, our natural biological predisposition to focus more on the negative than on the positive. So we want the organizing systems to make it fun for you to cook, to make it easy for you to find exactly what you need when you need it, to put it away when you need it, so that when your guests arrive, the litany in your head is, wow, look at this meal I created. How grateful am I that I have friends or family that's coming over. Look what we get to do tonight. We get to gather as a family and have an amazing time. And that's where we want you to have the energy to do that. And I think what's missing in the dialogue is the role that, again, organization or disorganization plays in that experience. And there's so much in this world we cannot control. We can't. But we can control our space and what we put in it and how we set it up. And that looks different in different spaces. If you had a twin sister and you lived in an identical home, we would organize you differently because your needs are different, and maybe your family is different, and maybe your personality is different. And so we have to tailor that. But the organizing principles that we teach can be applied to any organizing project. It can be applied to any organizing family. And then getting back to what we were saying before about what it means to be organized is not how we have several clients who are very organized. They just hire us because they love organizing. And sometimes they just need a little jump start. They've gotten a little back, but their homes are not perfect. They have kids, they have pets, they have life, but they know where their stuff is. Right. And then we have other clients who have very pristine looking homes, but if you open every cabinet door or you look in the drawers, there's chaos. Right. So again, to your point about that negative thinking, you look at other people and think, oh my gosh, their home is so perfect. There could be chaos over there. And I'm not saying there is, but
there could be, you've seen inside their drawers and cupboards.
I have, and they're very frustrated and they're feeling very down about themselves because being organized, I'm going to make it really, really simple. Being organized is knowing what you have and where to find it when you need it. Quickly, easily, without stress, and without disrupting the whole rest of your space. Right? It's about managing your space so that you don't waste time, money, and energy replacing things that you already own, but you can't find in the moment. And it's, it's not about the tools. It's not about the products. It's not about the organ, in all seriousness, a trip to the Container Store is great. But if you don't have a system in which to use those products, the products don't serve. And very often people will go buying a product saying, if I buy these products, maybe then I'll be organized. But true organization is about mindset and behavior and the ways in which you use them. And it's the vision that you create for your space, and then how you make intentional decisions that are in alignment with that vision that you're creating.
Okay. Interesting.
And so to your point earlier about, the parent or, particularly the moms being the knower of all things and the keeper of all things, and that could be a very exhausting responsibility. We'll teach about creating associations. So we don't just teach one place for everything, which a lot of people know, or grouping like with like, which a lot of people already know. We do teach them. They're two of our principles. We have our own way of teaching them, but we also bridge that gap through something called creating associations. So if you ask me where any type of item is, either an exact item or a category of items is in my home, I can tell you because I have a very strong association about where that category lives in my home. And then it becomes like my own internal GPS system. So if I need, Marie and I always use batteries as an example, because everybody has batteries, or most people need batteries at one point or another, and it's very innocuous and easy to talk about. So batteries. So in my house, if I need a battery, I go into my kitchen. I have a unusually large junk drawer. I open up the drawer, I look on the right-hand side, and they're all lined up. I either have them or I don't. That is the extent of the energy I expend on whether or not I have batteries. If I don't have the size that I need, I put it on my list.
You put it on your list?
Sorry. I put it on my shopping list. If I need it and I don't have it, I put it on my shopping list. So to give you an example, I will go to somebody's, or Marie and I will go to somebody's house, and they will have batteries in the kitchen junk drawer. They will have them in the basement. They will have them upstairs in one of the bedrooms. They will have them in the garage. And so if they need a battery, again, you can substitute important things for batteries in this situation, and imagine yourself in a situation where you need something.
A battery can be very important if the power's just cut out and you them up for a flashlight. And I'm sure everyone listening is thinking right now about where are our batteries, right? And so, like, I know for us, there's two drawers. There's either a drawer in the basement or a drawer in the kitchen. But even then, it would be better probably if they were all in the same drawer. But yeah, that's an interesting example of, so it's the association. You have a strong association, and now does your family? Because I think it's interesting, because it seems like the moms always know, and I know we're being very stereotypical here, but I still hear it's happening even in 2022, that people are saying, Mom, where's this and where's that, and we're the knower of where all the things are. We're the GPS for the rest of the family.
We are, and that's part, again, we take a deep dive into all of these principles, and it's important that everybody in the household have the same association. And so in my household, like right now, it's just my husband and me. So it's a very different dynamic now. Things have gotten a little bit easier. But at one point, it was my daughter at all stages of her life, teenager, when she was little. My father lived with us for many years. So there were 4 of us at one point. But everybody knew where to find something. So my daughter knew if she needed a battery, she would go to the junk drawer. She knew if she needed an extra school supply, she would go. We have a family room. There's a closet in the family room, and on the bottom, there's a bin, and there were all extra school supplies. We either have it or we don't. And that's the key thing. You want to be able to look at your space and see at a glance if you need something. So again, if we now move into the pantry, if you go into my pantry and you look at my shelves, I can look at my shelves and see at a glance whether or not I need something. And that has to do with one of our other principles: manage your space so you can manage your inventory. And so I'm not making random impulse buys at the store. I very much manage my inventory because of the way I have set up my space. And we talk in terms of prime real estate. Prime real estate are those easily accessible areas in your home where you can grab things. And very often we go into homes and people say, I don't have enough space for everything. And it's usually not that they don't have enough space, it's that they're not using their space efficiently. And so their prime real estate areas are filled with things that they are not accessing frequently. Things like long-term filing or seasonal items that you're grabbing once a year. And meanwhile, the stuff that they need, or stuff that they're not using anymore, stuff that doesn't fit them anymore, stuff that they're keeping just in case. We have a whole category of different forms of what we call clutter by reason. The things we're holding on to that we don't use anymore ever, but we hold on to them for a variety of reasons. And that's a whole other summit. We could dive into that. But I paid good money for it, but there's nothing wrong with it. Oh, but I need this just in case, right?
Yes.
So there's
I might need it one day. That's what I always say. I might need that one day. Yeah.
Right. So you might need it one day, 3 years in the future, right? But for the next 3 years, it's taking up space in your prime real estate. And the stuff that you're grabbing every day might be on the floor or on the chair or on the bed. And so that's impacting how we feel in our space. And, when we replace things we already own, You know, when we go out, or if we buy on super sale, but we wound up buying 20 of something because it was on super sale, but then we come home and we already had 10 of them. And then we're not keeping track of expiration dates, and then things expire, and then we're throwing them out. And then there's a negativity that comes with that. And there's lost money that comes with that. There's lost energy that comes with that. There's time now. And then again, that's when you start to feel out of control. That's when you feel, and then again, to your point, how are you showing up? How are you showing up in the world? If your bedroom is a mess, and we always say, if getting ready in the morning is an Olympic event because of disorganization and your inability to find what you need. And then, so for the working person, they go into work and now they're exhausted because again, Olympic event in the morning, we get to work. How are you showing up now? Are you late? Or do you have your stuff together? Are you performing in meetings, or are you distracted because you're depleted before you even begin? So again, how does disorganization or organization impact how you show up at work? How does it impact how we speak to our loved ones? Are you snapping at your children? Are you snapping at your spouse, your partner? Because you're depleted of energy and because you're feeling bad. You know, so we've had a lot of that where people are, you know, they're not cultivating and nurturing those quality connections in their lives because they are just so depleted and so feeling defeated. So how can we support our clients, or how can we support people that follow us through that process of moving from where they are to where they want to be? And how can their space and the organizing system support that? And make their lives easier so that they can experience joy and so that they could really be present in the moment and have energy and excitement and time for the things that they would rather be doing.
Exactly. That's beautiful, Annmarie. And I think, so as everyone can tell, and I love how passionate you get about it.
I do.
Because you do, and your eyes are just lighting up as you talk about it. And so I hope everyone listening can see and hear that this isn't just about like organizing. This isn't just about having a neat junk drawer and knowing where your batteries are. It's all the things that come out of that, and so beautiful, like to talk about how does it impact your relationships. I love that, and you're thinking about your home as this backdrop for your family relationships and how we show up in the world at work or when we're hosting, or having that time and energy to now devote toward our dreams and goals and passions, because we aren't spending all our time doing all the things because we're wasting our time or depleting our energy through disorganization. So I hope, I think that I love this, because I think, you know, for those people who signed on to this thinking, oh, she's just going to be talking about how to organize my house, this goes so much deeper than that. And I think for those of you that really want to delve more into this, and I think everyone can benefit from this, is to read Annmarie's book, because we only have so much time here to talk about it today, and we need to wrap this up. But I highly recommend that you read her book, and maybe a couple of questions I just want to ask you as we're wrapping things up today, Annmarie. And the first is, I'm asking everyone that I'm interviewing for the She Flourishes Summit, if there's one thing, and you may have already said it in this interview, but if there's one thing that you believe the women listening can do to really flourish in their lives, what's that one thing that you think would be really important for them to do, or one thing you want them to take away and remember from this interview today?
Oh, there's so many. Can I give two? Can I give two if they're quick?
Yes, you can sneak two in. I'll let you.
The first thing I think I would really encourage anybody who is looking from the standpoint of organization, but empowerment and looking to flourish, is to take some time in stillness to really reflect. And I'm going to talk from the standpoint of organization because that's where I'm coming from. Be in your space and take a look around and really reflect. If you're somebody who likes to journal, this is a great thing to journal on. You know, are your things and your thoughts moving you forward, or are they holding you back? And try to create a vision for how you want your space to look and feel. How do you want it to show up in your world? In the world of theater, very often the set, or in the world of cinema, the movie or the setting is often another character in the story in its own right. So if we were to kind of take that metaphor and draw upon it, what role does the character of your space play in your life? And really reflect on what you would like it to be, how you would like it to look, and then keep that vision in your mind when you are deciding how you want to set up your space and how you want your systems in your household to run, and think and to focus on the positives of what life could be if things were easier. And what would your relationships look like? What would your experiences be like in your home? And what can you create there? So we want you to look at it, to zoom out that lens and think about the possibilities. That's number one. I could talk about that for an hour. And can I share my screen? Do you mind for one?
Please do. Yes.
Marie and I always say, you have to run your own race. And very often people look at pictures on Pinterest and they think organization is out of their reach. And it is not. It is not that some people have the organizing gene and other people don't. It is not like that. And we talk about, I know we don't have time to delve into neuroplasticity, but we do such a simple explanation of it in the book. All you need to understand about neuroplasticity is that the brain can grow and that anybody can learn new skills and create new habits. That's all you need to know at this level. And you can take a deeper dive. But I'm going to show you a visual that I really hope will help. So if you're starting out at the beginning and you're very disorganized, we think in terms of education. You are in kindergarten. So we're going to do the alphabet. Kindergarten is A. Okay. When you look at Pinterest, Pinterest is Z. So very often people try to leap from A to Z and they get very frustrated along the way. And that can sometimes send us on a downward spiral. We want you to remember, and please take a look at this visual. There are 24 other letters in between. So we want to focus from where you are, whether it's A or whether it's J, wherever you are, we just want to go one step to the next letter. So go from A to B and then B to C and so on. And celebrate every step you take forward, however small, should be celebrated, including showing up to watch this summit. That is a step you took for yourself and it should be celebrated. But if you try to do this, very often people look at Pinterest and say, if I can get my house to look like this, I will be organized and everything will be better. And that's not how it works. And that's a good thing. That really, truly is a good thing, because we want to celebrate you and every step along the way that you take. And if you just get to B from A, we are celebrating with you, truly.
Awesome. I love it. What a great visual, Annmarie. I love that.
I love this visual because I have to look at it sometimes, because it could be applied to anything. It could be this visual, applied to anything. When you first look at that, you try to go to there and it's like, but what about those? What about those steps?
Well, and social media, right? Like social media, we're often looking at, now you say Z, in Canada, we say Z, but in social media, we're looking at the Z, right? Or the Z. We're seeing, like you said, Pinterest or the images that we see, and we compare what we look around and we compare, and that doesn't serve us. So I love that visual. And I love that you meet people where they're at.
We do. And that's the importance of it. And you want to meet yourself where you're at, and you want to come to a place of acceptance. It's okay. If you're at A, that's great. You have other skills where you excel that you could teach me a few things. And, our only goal is to move you forward. And that should be your goal. Today, I did a little bit more than I did yesterday. And that's where we get stuck. And that's where particularly I feel, again, not to be stereotypical, I feel as women, we do that to ourselves a lot. We don't celebrate what we have accomplished, or the areas where we are shining and where maybe somebody else wouldn't shine as bright but you could help them move along. You know, again, where we put our attention is what grows. So be mindful and have self-compassion about where you put your focus, right?
Beautiful.
So
Yes, self-compassion.
so let me leave you with this. Always focus on what you are building and creating in your space and in your life, not what you are letting go of or losing. You know, what are you building and creating in your space?
Beautiful.
It's so much more hopeful and empowering and positive and purposeful. Right?
Yes, it's that moving toward, right? We're moving toward what we're building and creating. I love it. It's so, so beautiful. Annmarie, oh my goodness, we could have like a whole, I think, week-long workshop in all of this. But what can people do if they want to connect with you and if they want to learn more about what you do and how you can help them to build and create the life that they want?
I love it. Thank you. Let me see. I have some slides. So this is the book.
Annmarie's so organized. She's got slides. I love it.
We have slides. We do these presentations, which anybody can go onto our website. They're free for anybody who wants to attend them. Our monthly schedule is up all the time, and this is the slides at the end of our presentation. So if anybody is interested in the book, it is available hardcover, digital. It's an audio book too. We are not the ones speaking it, but it is an audio book for those who prefer to listen to their books. And that's the information for that. If anybody is interested in signing up for our mailing list and subscribing, we put out a monthly newsletter with some organizing tips and an occasional promotion. And you will receive, as a thank you, you will receive chapter 2 of Beyond Tidy for free, which is Where Do I Begin? Which is very often a source of stress for people, particularly when there's more than one area of disorganization. And sometimes it's very hard to know where to start. And this really, really helps with tangible tips on how to go through that process and to decide what's best for you and your family in terms of where to begin.
Perfect. And that's exactly, I think, where we're all sort of, where people are probably sitting right now. It's like they're convinced, okay, Annmarie, you've convinced me, but what now? Where do I begin? So I hope everyone listening goes and checks that out. That's a beautiful gift for you to share with everyone, because that's a perfect next step.
It really is a source of stress for people, and we want to say it's okay. You know, we've got you. We've got you on that. And then this is our contact information. We are on Facebook and Instagram at Organize Me NY. The NY is key. There are other Organize Me's out there, and they are, I'm sure, lovely, but we want you to get to us. And our website is organizemeny.com. And we would love to have you come and check out our stuff. We have lots of things on there. We have videos, we have before and after. We try to do case studies because, again, pictures are deceiving. You know, anybody could push clutter out of the way and take an after picture. We want you to understand the process and the work that went into creating systems. Doesn't all look like Pinterest, but it is life changing. So we try to, you know, talk about that. And
so Annmarie, the NY is for New York, but so for people that don't live in New York, you offer virtual help, right? Like that's, you have a lot of clients that, so people, if people are thinking, oh, I don't live in New York, that doesn't matter, right?
Oh my goodness. We have had such wonderful sessions with people virtually. It's a different type of a service than obviously if we're there in person doing the physical work, but we have had such success. People send us videos and pictures in advance. We pull it up on the screen. We will teach you about, we'll teach you our principles. We'll go through the space. We create action steps and accountability, and people come back to us. We tweak. It has been really fascinating. It's something that we really got full force into during the pandemic. It was our way of continuing to support people when we couldn't go into people's homes, but people still needed support. And it has really taken off. So it's been wonderful to have that. So yes, we can support you anywhere in the world, basically, as long as you have Wi-Fi and an internet connection.
Yeah, wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Annmarie. Thank you. Maybe you can just stop sharing your
I
screen for
am.
one moment and then we can say goodbye. But thank you so much for being part of the She Flourishes Summit and sharing all of these amazing gems, all of this wisdom that you've shared with us. And I encourage everyone to get connected with Annmarie because she's amazing, and to definitely go and download that second chapter of her book that she so generously offered to all of us. So thank you so much, Annmarie, for being here today.
Thank you for having me. I can't wait to watch all the other sessions too, because I'm here to learn as well. So thank you for letting me be part of that. I think it's amazing what you're doing and I celebrate it, truly. Thank you.
Thanks, Annmarie. Thank you so much. And to everyone else that's listening, I will see you in the next She Flourishes Summit interview. Bye for now, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Happy organizing.